Hello, hello, hello. Um, get this working. Okay, now I'm all set up. So, hello, I'm Javon, and I share everything that I know about emotional wellness and healing. And today, I want to share what I know about exhaustion and overwhelm. Uh, but first, please let me tell you who I be. So, again, I'm Javon Gray. I help folks go from letting their mood be dictated by what happened to them to becoming the force that dictates what will happen next. And we have a saying around my camp, which is we don't cope, we heal. And speaking of what goes on my camp, um, I have an intensive coming up that I'll get into more details later, but I do want to open up with an invitation um, to an experience that is it is designed to help decrease overwhelm. What I have found is that most of the time my clients don't truly enjoy everything that they worked so hard for. Right? So like you get caught up in the hustle and bustle of the do, right? Of wearing all the hats that you focus on all of your roles. And so when your to-do list rolls in or gets loaded up, you feel completely drained and wiped out, right? This program, this experience is designed to help you to clear your mind, to take your break, right? Without feeling guilty or like, um, something bad will happen. You'll go broke, your marriage will end, your mother will die, we carry these big weights on our shoulders, like, or my baby will die, whatever the case may be. It, in general, is designed to get you to the place where you can create the space that you need in order to feel more present and grounded. Um, because we wear a lot of hats in this camp, right? It's not meant to like overwhelm you, like to be a list of, you know, 45 methods that you need to complete in order to get to that point, in order to actually clear your mind, right? So it's designed to be very straightforward and not take up all of the time in your day, not to really take up any time at all, right? This is the deal. Right now, as it stands, I have 7 spots left at the holiday rate. And so I'm going to tell you right up front, it's a $55 experience. And I'll give you more details later on, but I did want to open up with that. The link to join will definitely be in the chat, so y'all can check that out. But we can definitely get back to overwhelm and exhaustion, right? So this was actually inspired by a post that I did about a week and a half ago that was titled like you're exhausted, but it's not from what you think. And so I wanted to go a little bit deeper on that. Does this sound familiar to you? You are always putting more things on your to-do list. Your schedule is packed tight, and yet no matter how much you check off, no matter how much you get done, how much rest you try to sneak in, you still feel exhausted. You can have a break. You take a full weekend getaway. You come back on Monday and you feel exhausted, right? You got some sleep. uh, and you still feel exhausted. You were able to completely unplug and you still feel exhausted. Well, what if I told you that exhaustion probably is coming from what it probably isn't coming from what you're doing, but from what you're avoiding? So usually we go through life and we step over, avoid, step to the side of feeling our emotions, of handling the things, right? Our brains respond really well to order. And when your children consistently, excuse me, um, when your children consistently do a behavior, for example, that you keep telling yourself, like, I mean, it's fine, like, I'm a good mom, I didn't like it when my mom did this to me, so I won't do that. But you and you got other stuff to do. So um, regardless of how you handle the situation, if you handle it like you feel like you're supposed to, or if you handle it in a way that you feel like you're not supposed to, you still have this thing in the back of your mind is like, um, that feels guilty, that feels like this is an issue, right? This thing, this behavior that my child has, I'm like holding my child's head right now because she right here asleep on the table next to me. But you have this thing in your mind that holds place. It holds this thing that nags you. It holds space right there. And especially if you were hurrying up to do something because you were on your way to the next thing, you can't really deal with that because right now is your only, 60 minutes or 45 minutes of TV time. Right now is the only time that you have to shower, whatever. When it hangs up here, right, you lied to yourself and denied yourself when you didn't handle everything in that moment, right? When you pushed everything to the side to do whatever it was that you were doing, or when you, shut down the conversation so that you can move everything to the side and sort of compartmentalize. We do that a lot. Or if somebody challenges you, right? If you're in a work setting or if you're in a home setting and it's your child, it's your husband, it's your mom, your grandparents, whatever, that challenges you and you feel frustrated with that. Again, it doesn't even necessarily matter if how you handle that, right? It's that frustration that you're not handling that is taking up space, right? Then there are like the thoughts that creep in, whatever's bothering you at night, whatever's keeping you up, whatever the first thing that's on your mind in the morning, that you just kind of push aside because they feel like they're too much, or you can't handle that because you got to catch up with all of your things. It's that actually that creates the exhaustion, because whenever we hold on to things, we don't realize that takes energy. And I can say one of the biggest things that I hear people say right now is, but like, I don't get it, but like, how do I let go? Right. And then you say, let go. No, but I don't get it. Like, how do I let go? Like, I want to let this go. How do I let you let go? Like you would a hot pan off the stove, right? You let it go. And it's so crazy because one of the things that I know is that when you say that, and it seems so simple, but there has been no prior experience with it, right? So there's number one, it seems simple, but number two, it seems impossible, right? Because what I can say is that for me personally, I would think the first time I heard it, and I had to hear it several times, I'll tell you that, before I actually considered it and tried it. But And that's why I'm going to keep saying it, because you need to hear it multiple times. But I had to hear it so many times because I was saying, like, in my mind, I'm like, if it was that simple, like, I would have did it. Like, I mean, I'm smart enough. I think I fancy myself as somebody who was smart enough to know that if to have at least tried to drop it before. But the fact of the matter is that I wasn't. I hadn't, right? In that particular way, that was something that I hadn't ever done. I never thought to drop it. I never saw anybody drop it. And even if I did, not only would I not recognize it, but if I did, I probably thought, what in the world? I don't even know what you just did. I don't know what kind of avoidance that was, or if you was a, I don't know. We got all kinds of names for people, like a coward or a punk or, weak spined or people pleaser or whatever. You think there's something else, some sort of ulterior motive or something like that if somebody would just drop something, right? If they wouldn't escalate a situation like you would, or if they would, not hold on to things so long, right? The people who don't hold grudges, who have things flow through them like water, we be kind of stuck, right? Until we start to practice that, till we start to buy into the benefit of that. And I know that this is a concept that you can't just talk about it, right? Like I can tell you, and I hope that you try to just let something go, because like legit, that's it. That's the whole thing. Boom, mic drop. That's it. You ain't got to come back. You ain't got to, pay nobody thousands of dollars. You don't got to go through a whole bunch of, hours and hours and hours of therapy if you could just let it go. But the fact of the matter is that you can't just, apparently, for most people, because then come all the questions and the doubts and the this is and the that's, because that is what the anxious mind does. I also had this, I know from experience that you can't just tell somebody that, because I had a conversation, actually, it was within the past 2 or 3 weeks with my sister, where I'm like, you just drop it. I mean, it's not that serious, right? And so, right? She in the heat of her thing, and she probably wanted to like wring my neck, right? But it's true, right? It's true. And in hindsight, it might have even been able to be viewed that way by her. But if you want to drop something, right? And you feel like you need to hold on to it as well, because it is serious enough to hold on to, but you are upset because whatever happened, right? You are stuck. That's why you stuck. That's literally it. That is the whole equation, right? I feel like I need to hold on to this because I deemed it as something that I'm clinging to because it's that serious. And I don't want it here because it hurts. Right? This is the dilemma, right? This is what keeps us stuck. It's that imbalance right there that we feel balanced at, because that is what we do as a habit. So when I said this to her, her response was, it is that serious to me. Okay, keep it in, right? Because it's even if we're not in the heat of the moment, it's hard to just say, just drop it, because you never had that experience before. I had a conversation this morning as well with a colleague and best friend of mine who was like, what? Like, how do I do that? Like, what do I do? What do I say? Like, what, what? And so I went on to tell her that oftentimes, whenever we are working through something that we haven't ever done before, number one, we don't even know if we can do that thing. And we are so used to relying on everyone else around us that we usually don't do it. We're like afraid to try it. We feel like if I don't have the step-by-step instructions on it, especially the people who have a similar background to me, the people who are in a similar space to me, very much so, in the camp of people that, feels like way more comfortable and confident in doing something if somebody went before them to do it, and if someone could supply instructions for them. because I know that is how many of us are wired. I am offering in January an intensive. That is what the Soft 6 Self-Care Challenge is about. It's about like this is how you do it, right? It is an opportunity to be given a set of principles, behaviors, practices to try, so that, and also a container following it of 7 days. So it's of 6 days. So it's the first day is a 2-hour intensive session where we go through exactly what you will be needing to do, right? And then for the next 6 days following that, we walk through, this is how you start, right? Real simple. Just apply this to your day. It's not something that's going to take up a bunch of time. It's going to be an audio training that you can listen to on your ride to wherever you go, to your work, to, a client, whatever. And then, like a reflection that you can do if you're interested in that. But overall, us just sharing our, like what's going on with us, what's coming up for us, and how the challenge is impacting us, right, for 6 days. So that is what that container is about, because I can't just say the thing and have you do it, right? Or I can just say the thing and maybe 0.5% of the people who hear this or watch this will actually even try to do it. And many of them, even when they feel like, okay, this thing didn't happen for me, like nothing happened, what was I waiting for? You know what I'm saying? We'll feel stuck and then won't do it again. This is what this program is for. This is what the Soft 6 is for us to get together and work on clearing our mind, right? Work on being present and being grounded, because it's in that space. It's when we are operating in that space that we can get tons of things done, right? That we can deal with whatever comes up for us in the moment instead of pushing it off to the side, right? Because we need order. We need order in our mind in order for us to be at peace. We gotta set everything straight. So that is what we're doing. The investment for this is $55. It's a $55 ticket for this experience. And like I said, the link will be in the comment section. But I do want to leave you with this. What can be really helpful whenever you are faced with, these are the top 3 things, actually, the top 3 shifts that you can make in order to transition into this space, right? With the clear mind, this space where, you don't feel like you got to do everything and be everything for everyone, right? Where you can just sit down on your couch and let something go undone, right? Whether it's something that you could do right now, but wasn't going to do anyway, because that's what happens, especially if you wind up going into procrastination, you ain't get it done anyway. It took so long, you had 17 things on your to-do list and you only got 3 done, right? So boom, it puts you in a space where you can get those 3 things done quicker and still take your break. Maybe you get 4 things done and you still take your break. But the key here is that when you take care of yourself, you put yourself, you optimize all of your functions, all of your mental functions, all of your physical functions. And so, anywho, here's the 3 shifts that you can make. The first one is to slow down, right? So when you're in a situation where you come into a conflict, whether it is internal or external, right? When there's something, oh, I just said that and I was like, kind of like a lie, or, oh, I just thought that and I'm not supposed to even think like that, right? Like I promised myself it's 75 words that I will not use, right? I promised myself that, like I have this, wealth goal that I will meet this month, and I just had a thought that I won't. Like that doubt, I'm cutting it out. Anytime you come up with any sort of conflict, like I said, whether it be internal or external, the first thing that you want to do is to slow down. You have to learn to, and you are the only one who can teach you. There are people who can guide you along the journey. I will be happy to do that for you, but you have to learn how to identify the real source of your emotional conflict. The second thing is to relax. Okay, so oftentimes what we'll start to do is to analyze. You'll get in your mind and try to figure out where, what exactly it came from, where did this start, and that type of stuff. What you need, what works so much better, is to do a general sorting, right? Just to get everything straight before you go to bed, right? Then the third thing is to shift patterns. So you want to understand the why behind your behavior, right? What's the emotional source? What's the source of the emotional conflict? And then once you understand that, you pause, right? You pause and sort. It's then that you can create the space for doing something new in that moment, right? And the new thing, it's not just the sorting, but usually once you sort it, you'll find that there's either nothing for you to do, or that there's something for you to do, and then you do it immediately, and then you don't really have all of that stuff going on. So again, I just want to invite you. This is exactly what the Soft 6 Self-Care Challenge is designed for. In just 7 days, we'll focus on slowing down, on noticing what's really driving your stress, and then we'll take the small intentional steps toward a clear mind. You'll learn how to stop reacting, how to start regulating, and how to reconnect with yourself in a way that feels doable, even in your busy life. So, if you're ready, join us for 7 days of guided self-care, emotional regulation, and practices that help transform how you're feeling at home, how you're feeling with family, how you're feeling at work, and how you feel in your own skin. If you want more information about this, just shoot me a DM with the word soft, and I'll answer your questions. I'll see y'all next week.